Thank you, Jenna, for a beautiful oration. Good afternoon, class of 2014, friends, and family. My name is Natalia Duarte, and I am the Senior Class Committee Representative for Leverett House. Yay, bunnies! The person I am now introducing actually once had the task of introducing me at a Leverett House charity date auction. When I thought I was going to be going for the lowest bid, he turned the tables, riled up the crowd with southern twang and innuendos, and somehow had me auctioned as one of the most expensive prizes of the night. He made me feel like the belle of the ball, and now I must do the same. Today, I have the distinct privilege of introducing someone who is not only a fellow Leverett House resident, he's a very dear friend to me and has been over my time at Harvard. Zack Guzman is one of those rare individuals who always somehow manages to make your day and with whom there's never a dull moment. Originally from Virginia, Zack has anchored Harvard's sketch comedy show on Harvard Time and broadcasted sports for WHRB, Harvard student radio station, including a recent stint in Spokane, Washington, covering Harvard's March Madness victory. This experience got him a full 5 seconds of fame on television. Zack would like to thank his roommates, Andrew Walsh, Joe Lehrer, Matt Lowe, and James Sun, for always being there for him. And even though this isn't a date auction, Zack would like to remind the ladies of the crowd that love knows no age. Getting a little desperate, aren't we? Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I present to you Zack Guzman, your 2014 Male Orator.
Thank you, Natalia. Hello, fellow classmates, family, and encroached upon squirrels of the yard. My name is Zack Guzman, and I am in love. I have been in an ongoing relationship for quite some time, and perhaps some of you out in the audience, or dare I say sitting up here with me on stage, might think that this is a foolish notion. But I am not alone. I wouldn't be surprised if every one of us in the class of 2014 said the same thing. You see, our love affair started even before we met the love of our lives. In high school, we were desperately searching for a significant other, and we set our eyes on the most sought-after, desirable piece of assuredness on the market. She had everything my hormone-filled teen self could ask for. Intellect, financial stability, and as we saw with the whole satanic black mass thing, a reverse tiger mom in Drew Faust who allowed Harvard the freedom to do whatever she wanted in the basement. But as we learned at the first chance dance, you can't just walk up and tell someone you want to spend the rest of your life with him or her. No. As society dictates, the more appropriate strategy is to tell this to their friend. To instill the appropriate level of jealousy, I reached out to Stanford, Harvard's Tanner, Californian friend. But amidst the chit-chat of startups, golf, and something about the weather being an unbearable 64 degrees, I decided to cut things off. It would be better for her this way, and in the end, we caught Harvard's eye. The true problem, though, was how many others saw what we saw in our love. On our Tinder profile, which, for the parents in the crowd, is today's premier and shadiest iPhone dating app. Harvard had 35,023 people swipe her to the right, which you only do with the most attractive users. To put that in perspective, some of you might not know this, in my 4 years here, my Farmers Only profile which is described as Tinder for, quote, good old country folk, has been viewed only once by a farmer in rural Mass with the username XOXO Harvard Sexy Fun Guy, hashtag Fiendeaster. Serious love prospects only, Dean Feaster. But lo and behold, we were swiped to the right too, sparking the honeymoon phase, where nothing at all about the other person could bother you. Not her coldness, not her crippling fear to only refer to herself as a school in Boston when others ask, and not the kinky demands that everyone pee on John Harvard's foot in order to graduate. We found it cute that security guards wanted to check and make sure we weren't stealing books from the library. You didn't mind the fact that HUD's idea of culinary variety meant variously colored, yet strangely similarly tasting sauces on top of freshly caught, cage-free, endangered fish known simply as swai. And if it wasn't beef fettuccine Alfredo night, which God help us all if it was, you didn't mind Harvard bought the recycled fiberglass version of single-ply toilet paper and limited your use to 2 rolls per week. Yet after a while, as is the case with most relationships, the luster began to wear. It didn't take long to discover we were captives of a crazed romantic. Suddenly, Harvard wanted to put a label on everything. What is your concentration? The answer to this question depended on each of our prior interests. Perhaps you wanted something serious, so you chose Gov. Maybe you wanted something casual, so you chose Applied Mathematics. If you had a crush on Governor Chris Christie or Beyonce, you chose Economics because you heard Eck had even better curves. But by junior year, I started to doubt why I ever fell in love with Harvard in the first place. I no longer found backpack checking in Lamont Library cute, and started to play the game, how many books can I steal without the security guard noticing? 2 course packs, a signed copy of Mancu's textbook, and an Orangina is a personal best. Then word got out we might have cheated on her, or at least collaborated with multiple individuals, causing Harvard to read through all of our emails. Yet still, with all of Harvard's quirks, senior year reminded us that time is fleeting. Oh, what you wouldn't give now to be back with Harvard in the stacks of Widener one last time. I myself have a memory of discussing my grade with the TF in the stacks, only to learn I couldn't get it up. Perhaps you too have fond memories. But this doesn't need to be goodbye, and I don't believe today is a breakup. In fact, it looks more like a wedding. I mean, our parents are here. They've paid quite the dowry. And Harvard's reverse tiger mom is still nowhere to be found. And perhaps it's easy to think that we're all marrying out of our league when we look at Harvard's exes. I mean, just off the top of my head, I could name presidents: Henry David Thoreau, Bill Gates, Tommy Lee Jones, and the artist formerly known as, and still known as, Yo-Yo Ma. Yet with all of that in mind, we must not forget, Harvard chose us too. She liked us enough to put a 1 ring on it. It's not a one-sided relationship like most of those we knew in high school. Tomorrow, we will leave, but be bonded forever. My father, who is Mexican, which really doesn't have anything to do with this part of the story, I just mention it because the last time I did, Harvard accepted me. I'll throw it out there again. He once told me, marry the right person and life, no matter how difficult the challenges you might face, will always be fun. I have no doubt our challenges will get more serious than our complaints of having to walk 10 minutes to get to biolabs, dealing with getting snubbed from Harvard's student model fashion show 4 years in a row. Probably because you're too good looking. Or stomaching an endangered fish. Seriously, that last one's not a joke. Google it, SWAI. Someone's got to do something about it. But through it all, Harvard will be there with us. And even though we might be marrying someone roughly 354 years older than us, Harvard's vitality has never wavered. AKA, don't plan on getting any of the endowment, you dirty gold diggers. To conclude, I'd like to congratulate the happy couple that is all of us and all that we have gained in our 4 years we've been together. Despite what those jealous of our liberal arts schooling might say, truly think of all the applicable gifts we've been given. I mean, just for myself, tomorrow I graduate with a Spanish citation, which means I can legally hablas español. I get a degree in economics, which means, according to the study I just conducted with the only other econ alum up on stage, I'm going to be a billionaire. And a woman. Yes, I will be a billionaire, provided, of course, I download the Lean-In audiobook on my iPod and immediately delete the contradictory message delivered by Fat Joe's 2004 hip-hop classic, Lean Back. How Miss Sandberg can refute Mr. Joe's well-articulated thesis of pulling up your pants, doing the rockaway, and proceeding to lean back, lean back, lean back, is not my place to say. But I am sure she will address such in her speech. And, as if that wasn't enough, I get a secondary in neurobiology, which means I only need to operate on brains if someone who concentrated in neurobiology isn't around. Your gifts might be these, most likely even better than these. The point is, we've worked hard to get here, even harder to get here today, and I'd wager once we are thrown into a world without great inflation, probably our hardest tomorrow. But we are ready. With our fair spouse at our side, we say I do. And before consummation tomorrow, I'd like to propose a toast. I thought there was champagne served at these things for all of you too, I'm sorry. May we live our lives not comparing to those that came before our class or those that may come after, but rather cherishing the comfort knowing that we will have this place that we love forever in our hearts for the rest of our lives till death do us part. Cheers and congratulations, class of 2014. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad.
Don't dance, you just pull up my pants and do the rock away. Now lean back, lean back.